Today we're going to build a dove who's going to sit on this wire. I draw out a bunch of rough shapes and then cut them out with a plasma cutter out of a sheet of steel that I'm going to use to make this dove. Once I get that done, I start shaping the pieces with the hammer. Then I go into moving on to fine-tuning them with the pair of pliers and just by hand. Once I get all this done, I go ahead and begin welding them together. As I weld the bird together, I a lot of times have to adjust the pieces, so I go ahead and bend them with either pliers or hammer or whatever it takes to kind of get them into shape as I weld the bird together. The more pieces I add, the more detail that comes into shape. I make sure that I take care to look at everything, step back, and make sure he's aligned right, because this usually ends up being a problem. Sometimes you have to cut things apart and put them back together. As I weld on his feet, I go ahead and use a screwdriver as a straight edge to make sure that I can get his feet aligned so they're sitting on the wire properly. I do a lot of test fitting on projects like this to make sure everything's going to come out the way I want it to. If I have to, I go ahead and make adjustments. Once I'm happy with my bird, I move on to the base. I go ahead and add a T-post to the base and then start adding the wire. Using a small wire, I build a plant that holds up the end of the wire. This is going to give it a little stability in the sculpture. As I continue to work, I just add little details, keep welding them into place where I like them, and if I don't, I just go ahead and cut them off and start again. I created this plant using some expanded metal. Just cut along its edge, and the pieces turned out really nice. They have a lot of detail to them. I continue to assemble the piece, adding detail as I go. Little pieces here and there really makes a big difference. I continue to test fit the bird, make sure everything's coming into shape. I start working on a simple walnut base to add this sculpture to. Once I get the sculpture mounted to the base, I go ahead and finish the base with a little clear coat. Finished my dove on a barbed wire fence. He turned out really nice. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.